Okay, now that you've actually recorded something in Logic Pro, you've recorded your recital, I'm going to talk about the L2 plugin, which happens to be off. Let's turn it back on. The L2 plugin is what we use to optimize the output or volume of our final project. And it's important to get this right. Now, when it comes up, it might be here by default, and I'll explain what this does. It's a limiter of sorts. It's a brick wall limiter. It will not let anything go out past the ceiling. In this case, we always have the ceiling set to minus 0.2 dB. That's right up near the top, and that's where we leave it. So you never need to mess with this output ceiling. Over here, you'll notice that it's set to 16 bits because we are still putting everything on CD, and CDs are 16 bits. We're going to quantize it to 16 bits. So you can leave these alone too. It's this threshold fader here that you need to mess with by just clicking and dragging. And the way you adjust this is you get a look at your file here. Now, in this case, the volumes are relatively consistent throughout. In another video, I'll show you what to do when it's not that way. We're just talking about the basic L2 operation here. So what I want to do is I want to find where's the loudest part of this file. Now, it looks like it's right here to me, but that's applause. And like I said earlier, we don't care about applause. I'm just talking about music and L2. What's this? Yeah! That's applause also. Okay. So, looks like this might be a loud section right through here. Saxophone recital. Okay, I'm going to just turn this down so I can talk over the music. You will never do this in reality. Okay, so now I can talk over this music and you can hear what's going on. Notice how I'm really not getting up to the top here. I haven't maximized my level. Again, this seems like it's pretty much as loud as this recital gets. Let me scroll down here a little further. Let's see what this is. Okay, drums. They must have changed the recording level because notice how it's not a lot louder, but we know this music is louder. So anyway, they did a good job of getting the levels set between these two things when the jazz section of this recital set up. So anyway, in either case, I need to drag this threshold down. I'll let you hear what it does. Notice how the volume changes as I drag it down. Okay, what that's doing is it's lowering my threshold and raising the output. So if I come back here, it's obviously a softer selection, but just because these are two different styles of music in the same recital, this gets to be a complicated subject. I don't particularly want this to be quiet for the first, 35, 40 minutes of this recital CD. I should probably treat this as two separate things. Make sure the first section's optimized and the second section's optimized as well. Because this is two different types of music, and they were recorded at two different levels based on just what I can see here. I'm probably still looking at the same L2 threshold. So let's go ahead and set the L2 threshold the way we should for this first half, and then we'll check the second half. So this is one of the louder sections, so I'm going to hit play. Again, I'm going to turn this down so you can hear me talk, even though you won't hear the results as much. So I'm going to drag this down, and I'm looking to get the output meters here pretty close to the top, especially at the loudest section. What's this? Okay, right there I got to the top. Probably take it down a little bit more. Okay, what you just saw here, or maybe didn't see, is look over here at the attenuation. The attenuation is how much it's actually taking off of the peak. Let's watch that one more time. I just barely touched it. That's probably just fine and dandy for this. Let me show you what happens if I really take this down from negative 11 to negative 23. Let's watch that same piece again, keeping our eye on the attenuation. Okay, Now I actually heard that. That's too much. Let's go back up here into the 11 or 12 range. Did you see how much attenuation? That was really compressing, squashing the signal. That's not something we want to do in this style of music. Okay, if it just touches it a little bit, that's great. Now, if I was looking at a file that was a lot of this section and only a little bit of that, I might want to squash it just a little bit more. But since this file looks like it's relatively similar across the gamut here, let's just check some other sections, see how we're looking. I'm going to scroll in vertically. Our output's up there close to the top. Let's check this section here. Okay, that looks good. We're getting good output level on our L2, which is going to translate to a good bounce when we get there. Let's check the jazz section. Now, since this is closer to rock and roll, heaven forbid, a little more attenuation wouldn't necessarily hurt, but let's go ahead and see what we have here without getting into an automation situation, which I'll explain in another video. Scroll in, let's see the loud section coming up. Okay, it looks like the levels are staying nice and high through there. What about over here? Click in the ruler. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of attenuation. I would say we've got a good level set on our L2. I'm going to click Alt, put this back to 0, and select that. And now I am happy with my L2 levels. Let's go ahead and shrink that down, give me a little more room to see things. And at this point, I could also check my mix, which I'll cover in another video, and I've already done that, but I'll explain that in another video. So that is how you use the L2 to optimize your volume output for your final bounce. And again, I will just add a note here. Sometimes it's not just a one level fits all situation, and you have to get into automation. And that'll be covered later. Thanks for watching.